What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. It's Ron here. Hope you guys are doing very well today. If you guys are stopping by the channel for the first time, please consider subscribing to the channel and also drop a quick like for the video. I would totally appreciate that. Well, guys, some big changes are coming up in the housing market, and especially in the Florida housing market. And there's a lot that I want to talk to you guys about today regarding that. Number one, I'm not sure how many of you guys are aware of the new immigration law that's going on in Florida, definitely impacting a lot of the home construction. I've gotten a lot of reports recently about the progress, or should I say lack thereof, progress taking place with home builders and whatnot. We've previously talked about, the affordability issues going on in Florida right now, higher HOA fees, higher mortgage rates, thanks to the Fed. But obviously the housing affordability problem in Florida is not limited to what the Fed has done and what the Fed will continue to do in terms of raising interest rates. The thing is there's just so much going on right now. And, so you got higher cost for HOA fees, which are partially driven by the higher insurance rates that HOAs have to cover every single year for different amenities within the property. If you happen to live in a condominium, then it's the building itself. They have to make sure that the condominium building is actually insured. And with natural disasters like Hurricane Ian and many others, which are very, very prevalent in Florida, it's driven up the insurance prices quite a bit, to a point where a lot of insurance companies have completely just pulled out of Florida. And I was actually talking to someone who lives in Florida just recently, and she was telling me that she's waiting on her house to be built. And the sad part is she's already paying for it. The house is not yet done being built, but she will have to continue to wait, and the expected wait time is probably going to continue to tick up. Why? Well, this is largely to do with the fact that the labor there's a shortage of labor right now, and this shortage is likely to get worse, partially because of this new immigration law that's taking place in Florida. Now, I don't know if you guys had heard about this. I don't know if you guys heard the recent Home Depot earnings call. There's a lot of information covered on that particular call. But during that call, they discussed the price of lumber, as well as several other materials that have changed drastically in price. I don't mean to jump off the camera, but I'm trying to get some things done while I share this information with you guys. But there's been a lot going on, all right? And so ordinarily, let's just roll back just a little bit, right? So during this earnings call, Home Depot and of course Home Depot and Lowe's are going to be affected by the same things. They're in the same industry. They're the big dogs. There's really no other major competitors to Home Depot and Lowe's, so we'll just kind of focus on them, right? But the major sellers, they are the major sellers of lumber in the United States. Period. Point blank. No one's going to argue that, right? But in 2021, they sold a combined $23 billion worth of labor. Now, I don't know if you guys worth of lumber. And I don't know if you guys remember, but lumber prices went through the roof. In fact, there were lumber shortages, and then there was a good period of time when the lumber shortage kind of was resolved. But many companies knew how badly construction companies needed lumber. So even though the shortages were being resolved and addressed, prices remained high. Why? Well, why waste a good tragedy? Let's keep lining our pockets by not reducing the prices of lumber, even though our cost has reduced. Anyway, long story short, Home Depot CEO during this earnings call, and they have these earnings calls quarterly. This is a time where, analysts get to ask questions, investors get to ask questions about, hey, what's going on with the business, yada, yada, yada. Home Depot CEO happened to mention that, and I'm probably going to get some of these digits off a little bit because I didn't take notes during the call. I'm just saying this off of memory, so don't quote me on this. Lumber, like a 2x4, before, I think it was like 2021, lumber was like, before 2021, lumber for the price of a 2x4 was $3.50 approximately. And this is one of their top most popular sellers. And going into 2022, that price of lumber had, briefly shot up to like $10, $10 per 2x4. Now that was a drastic increase, right? But since then, we're back down to around $3 and change per 2x4. Now, why is this important to us? Well, this is a very common item used to build houses. And ordinarily, you would think that a drastic decline in lumber prices, deflation in lumber prices, if you will, would cause home builders to want to buy up the stock, right? You would want to stock up on these cheap lumber prices. Well, ordinarily that would probably happen, but we're not seeing it yet. So the question is why? Why are we not seeing these prices come down? And I think that we need to take a look at the fact that obviously the demand for homes is still high, but the cost to borrow is even higher. And the other thing we need to look at is the simple fact that right now, at least for Florida, and I'm not looking at everywhere, but I'm looking at Florida, for example, because we want to move to Florida, but the cost to live in Florida is so much more expensive. And I'm just looking at what's going on with Florida right now. I don't know if you guys can see this, but it's talking about Florida's tough new immigration law, which could lead to labor shortages. And this is kind of going in line with the young lady that I had spoken to earlier, and how she has a house. She's got a property in Florida. I don't know if she's in Orlando, Fort Lauderdale, Fort Myers, Naples. I couldn't tell you, Miami. I don't know what part of Florida she's in. But simple fact of the matter is that she was saying that she was driving through the construction site and there's like no work taking place. I'm like spilling my drink everywhere. God. Anyway, so this labor law has apparently shut down a lot of the construction that's taking place in Florida. Now, we're talking about, okay, our housing price is going to continue to fall in Florida. What's really happening? We've seen a ridiculous increase in New Yorkers and Californians flocking to Florida, buying up real estate. And, if you come from New York or California, real estate is ridiculously expensive there. So if you go to Florida, you're going to get a discount compared to what you're normally paying in New York or California. So even if prices are still inflated in Florida, it's still a discount compared to New York and California. So, and I know a number of people have moved from those states to Florida. But that demand is declining largely because a lot of companies are telling their employees, hey, you got to come back to work, blah, 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 blah. You need to work more days in the office versus working remotely or working from home. And so a lot of employees are now faced with a challenge that maybe Florida isn't as attractive as it once was when working from home was abundant. Now, I can't say that without mentioning the fact that, a lot of people have been hitting me up lately asking, hey, Ron, can you show me how to, start a home-based business so I can work from home because I'm running out of options here. My job is forcing me to come back in the office, and I really don't want to do it. I don't want to spend time away from my family after I've gotten accustomed to just enjoying the lifestyle of a better work-life balance. So, if you guys want to learn more about, creating side hustles, home-based businesses, being able to create a sustainable type of business that could potentially allow you to just work from anywhere, definitely check out the links in the description down below. There's a link for my Patreon if you want to join that, or message me there. That's fine. We do a lot of different coaching sessions there. Anyway, I want to talk to you guys about what's really happening here, because Florida's so-called toughest in the nation immigration law takes effect July 1st, which is about 3 weeks from now. And there's concern it could cause a major agricultural and construction labor shortage. Now, we're already seeing it. I'm being told that there's all sorts of labor strikes already taking place from a construction standpoint. And a lot of people are not happy about this. There's varying positions to take on this, but according to the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, Florida already has 53 available workers for every 100 open jobs, landing the state in the more severe category of a labor shortage. Some effects of the upcoming law are already taking shape. Pedro Marcos from Guatemala, who is sticking it out as a laborer, said that he knows 2 former co-workers who left the state after Governor Ron DeSantis signed the new restrictive immigration law. The truth? I'm not planning to leave. I'm going to stay. I just want politicians to understand us. We do the work no one else wants to do, end quote. That's what he said, right? Now check this out. Marcos said the construction work he had in Miami dried up after his employers got scared. This new immigration law requires companies with 25 or more employees to use E-Verify when hiring. Those who don't check eligibility face fines and a suspended license to operate. Workers who use a fake ID to get a job could be charged with a felony. So these are some pretty harsh, very strict laws. The Florida Policy Institute estimates that the state's most labor-intensive industries could lose 10% of their workforce, costing the state $12.6 billion in just 1 year. It says, quote, the economy will suffer if they are forced to leave the state, end quote. Now, this comes from Dr. Francisco Larios. So he's a Nicaraguan community lead and professor of economics at Miami-Dade College. The law impacts healthcare too. Hospitals accepting Medicaid will be required to check immigrant status. So lots of things going on here. And all of this is going to directly affect the local Florida economy. It's going to affect the housing market further. I mean, Home Depot and Lowe's basically are saying that lumber's on sale. So the cost to build, the cost to reconstruct technically should be going down drastically. But the demand to buy these products isn't there. So, heck, the labor's not even there right now. And, this is Florida. Who knows what other states are going to do? I mean, this could potentially affect all 50 states if more and more states decided to do this. Now, I'm really interested to see, is Ron DeSantis going to maybe continue to move forward with this law, or, because it doesn't go into effect until July 1st. I mean, that's, 20, it's like 17 or 18 more days. I don't know how many more days are in this month. Anyway, so it hasn't gone into effect, but workers are already going on strike, and they're destroying the progress that the construction market was making. We were hoping that housing prices would go down because construction, hopefully was going to pick up with the lower prices of lumber. That would help to make the cost to build less expensive, hopefully lower insurance prices for homeowners going forward. But so far, we're not seeing that, especially not when a significant portion of the construction labor market is just leaving. So, I want to get some feedback from you guys. And also give me some feedback, boots on the ground. I don't know how many of you guys live in Florida. I'm not sure what you're seeing, but it looks like this housing market situation, the unaffordable problem, is only going to get worse for Florida. So this is not a good sign. And I've talked to a number of different people who are saying that they've observed a lot more cars in Florida driveways. And the reason, or at least the assumption for why there's so many more cars in the driveways of single family homes, is because people are having a very difficult time affording to live in Florida. And the fact that there's more cars there suggests that more people are renting out rooms in their homes to kind of help to offset the expense of living in Florida by, you know, putting a room on Airbnb or VRBO and renting a room out and having a renter stay with you to offset the cost of living. But in addition to offsetting the cost of living, kids, friends, family, relatives are moving back or moving into the homes of other friends, family, and relatives to save money. And so it's like a lot of kind of like, I don't want to say like shacking up. Basically, there's a lot of people combining their living spaces or sharing their living quarters with others, just because more and more people are having a very difficult time affording to live where they're at. But drop me some comments, guys. Let me know what you guys think. I'd love to hear from you. I still love the state of Florida. You know, it's just a fun place to be. I love the weather for the most part, minus the hurricanes, the sand, the water. You know, it's a wonderful place still. But I think that there's definitely some things that need to be improved to make it as desirable as it once was. And so I'm a little bit sad because of that, but I'm optimistic that things will get better. So drop me some comments, guys. Let me know what you guys think. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing to the channel. Also, drop a like for the video. I appreciate you guys, and I'm gonna catch you on the next one.